guys, this layout is another, this one actually has more in it than, yeah, every so often I do a layout and it's got quite a few bits and pieces that have come together to create the layout. Now, the background that I'm using was actually a piece of paper that was sent to me by my dear friend Carol, and it is a Fiskars paper. I don't know if you can still get it, but I'll tell you what it is. It's called Garden Trim. It's a Fiskars paper, and it's a 2007 paper. So I don't know if you can get it anymore, but I then decided, because I didn't want to start with a white background, I wanted to start with a pattern background, and I wanted to play with my papers. Now, the papers that I'm playing with, this wood panel came from the MINTAY basic book, number 10, and that worked in color-wise beautifully with the KAISERCRAFT Full Bloom 6.5 by 6.5 paper pad. Now, that is a beautiful collection and I've been sitting on it. That was sent to me by Sonia. Thank you so much. I've been looking at this particular paper pad knowing that I wanted to use lots and lots of it on a layout in lots of different layers. So I love them. I don't normally do really pastel or lighter toned pages like this, so this one hits a little differently, and I guess every so often I like to do a layout like this so that you guys know that I actually do layouts like this. I just gravitate towards the bright and mixed media-y full-on layouts. That's what interests me at the moment. So yeah. Now, I am just layering up. Now, I left all this in for you, as I always do, the good, the bad, and the ugly, what works and what doesn't work. And it doesn't always, something that has been said to me a few times is you make it look so easy. The reason I've left all this in here, including my tape change, I want you to see that it doesn't, even though I've sped this up a lot, right? Now, you can see all the layers, but can you see that it didn't just fall into place for me? I had to keep fiddling. I had to sort of make my mind up. What am I doing next? Which one would I like to add next? It's not necessarily straightforward when you're layering papers and patterns like this. If you sort of have to have a bit of a play with it. The trouble I was having was when I was doing this particular layout, I was doing it on Sunday and we had a competition, a gymnastics comp in the afternoon. I wanted to wash my new car with my husband. I wanted to vacuum my new car. I wanted to clean my house. I wanted to do my videos. I also, can you see? There's not enough hours in that day, Karen. So that's the problem I was having. So because I had those other things muddling in the background of my head, which we all have always, yeah. This is where we sort of, I run into a bit of a block, I guess. Now, I love how these layers work together. The colors, if you have trouble with this sort of thing, go with a paper pad like this, because 99% of the time, whatever's in this paper pad, it will match and go together seamlessly, right? It will work perfectly. Now, I did bring in a little bit of mixed media. I wouldn't sort of go to, it's a bit of paint and a bit of ink. That's all it is. It's not really a lot of anything. Now, I was going to town with this, but it dries down. This particular colour is Victorian Velvet. It's a Distress Oxide colour. I absolutely love it. I pulled out my little teeny tiny brayer, and I love the colour, and I love it on this background just to get a bit of extra texture in the background. But it dried down a little bit too dark for me, and I felt like it was a bit too overpowering. Now, right here, right now, you can't really see the pattern on the paper coming through, but up close you can. So I haven't actually gone over this so heavily that you can't see the pattern. And that pattern is then adding, I guess it's kind of like, you know, when we do mixed media and then we stamp on top of it, or we stamp underneath it and then we paint over the top of it. That's what I'm kind of using the pattern in the background for. And this is when I decided, okay, I'm going to come in with a little bit of just my Creative Place white acrylic paint, and I'm just rolling it on with my brayer, just to sort of, I don't want to colour it over completely. I just want to lighten it up a little bit. And you can see there, I put the same oxide ink on my palette, but I added a little bit of white acrylic paint to it, and it did lighten it up a little bit because I just felt like it was a bit too dark. So even we all do it, we all make different, mistakes and so forth. This is a giant rubber stamp that came from, I think it is, hang on, let me see if I put it on here. Yes, it's a Stampin' Up. It's called I Love Lace, this giant stamp, and I love it. And what I did, initially I just put some white acrylic paint on there to see if I could get, I wanted more the mesh in the background rather than the flowers. The flowers didn't really bother me if they worked. And it just adds a bit more in the background. I loved it. Once I realized that, I've got all this color down, maybe I should have used Tattered Rose, because Tattered Rose actually would go with this collection a lot better. And this is what happens when I am not using my colors all the time. I think of a color and I'm not as quick on knowing exactly the right color for it. So we all do it, guys. We all do it. Don't think that any of us are perfect. Any of us YouTubers, we make the same mistakes you do. It's just some of us tell you about them and some of us don't. So I like that. It's a bit lighter. Once I dried it, it was lighter in the background. You can still see the pattern coming through this. Even though I've used acrylic paint, I have thinned it right out with the brayer, so you can still see through it. Now I pulled out weathered wood because on the wood piece that I used with the MINTAY papers, it's actually got a bit of that weathered wood grey in it, that sort of blue grey. So I decided to use some of that. Then I used a quick sprinkle of Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide spray, and then I came in, you can see me shaking it here, with the Weathered Wood Distress Spritz metallic spray, and that gave me a little bit of metallic. Now to get those big splotches that I've just put on there, I'm only half pumping it, maybe a quarter, and it sort of just like splots out and it gives me the splashes. And you can see that just gives me a lot more of that mixed media-y background, and I liked that a lot more. I'll say it and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again. You need the contrast for any of the mixed media to work effectively and look right. It needs to have contrast, okay? If it doesn't have that contrast in there with a darker color or an opposite shade, it just looks a bit muddly for some reason. Now I thought with this particular layout, I thought the Uniquely Creative lace embellishment might look really pretty on it. So I pulled them out, and I'll be honest with you, I've been hoarding these because they're just so pretty. But like usual, if you're hoarding this stuff that you've bought because it's so pretty, well, use it on a layout so you can enjoy it on a layout. I do it all the time. And especially when I find something like this. I bought 2 packets and I'm down to my last 4 or 5 little pieces in this little bag. I absolutely love it. Now this, again, see how it's taking me a bit to line these how I want them so it looks right. They're called Delicate Lace Flowers. I'll have the number in the description below if you want to have a look for these. They actually have quite a few different things. If you go on the Uniquely Creative website, I'm not sponsored, it's just that's where I got them from. And they're super, super pretty. You can colour these. You can colour these with my homemade mica paint or my homemade mica spray that I use. It totally coats it and looks beautiful. Or you can leave it just plain like I have here, and I love that too. So now I am going to it's all right, I'm catching up to where I'm up to. So I decided that I haven't done a big Karen blingy layout for a while. So I've put my title on there, which is just one of the pop outs from the paper pad, and it just says wishing you wishing you the best day ever is what I'm trying to get out of my mouth. And the reason for that is this particular photo was taken after I went and had my birthday present with Taylor bought me this it's a scalp massage. It's so like it's as good as it sounds. You know, it was literally, it was the best, and my hair has never felt cleaner and softer, and it was amazing. It was so good. So we took photos afterwards, and that's my hair in this photo. I have to say, for the next sort of 5 days later, I couldn't do a damn thing with my hair. It was just so soft and so clean. It was just, I mean, we all wash our hair, right? We all know what clean hair feels like. This was clean hair on steroids. What they do is they do, like, literally strip anything out of your hair except color. So, you know, it was amazing. Not that I color my hair, but anyway. So I decided to go through with some flat back pearls and create like a little bit of a, when I do a layout like this, I like something to go across the diagonal. So I'm just putting all my flowerets and my pearls, and I'm just building them up through on the diagonal. Nothing technical here. I am using 3 or 4 different colors. I'm using a dark and a light gray. These are metallic pearls, right? And then I used a cream and there's a cream pearl, and then there's another cream pearl, but it looks like it's got oil on top, sort of thing. If that makes sense. And so I used those, and then I came in with the liquid pearls in a few different colors. I used white opal, I used platinum silver, I used coral, and what was the other color I used? Ballet slipper, maybe. Ballerina. I used those ones, and this is my layout, guys. I didn't really, other than doing a quick border around the edge in a silver. I used silver because I didn't want it to draw your attention too far to the outside edge. I wanted the focus to stay across the diagonal through the photo. That's what I wanted it to look like. And yeah, I loved it. I could have kept going with these dots, guys. I really could have. But I stopped myself because, you know, you got to stop eventually. But I have issues with knowing when to stop. And that is my layout. So if you like this kind of thing, let me know. Leave a comment below. Leave me an emoji below. Something like that. And don't forget to like, subscribe, all the fun stuff. And I've also got a link in the description for my Instagram, Facebook, and my Buy Me a Coffee link if you'd like to help support the channel. And as you can see, how gorgeous are those flowers? And then with all the pearls running through them, see how pretty that looks? I just love it. I absolutely love doing that. Liquid pearls, Nuvo drops, all those sort of things. They are just stunning to do that kind of thing with. I love it. Now, I get my flat back pearls from AliExpress if you are curious. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will be back with another video for you next week. Bye for now.